All right, so you know how there are those days, those specific days on the calendar that just kind of take on a life of their own?
Mm-hmm.
Not an official holiday or anything, but suddenly everyone online is talking about it.
Right.
It's October 3rd.
Oh, yeah.
That's become one of those days, right?
I see what you mean.
So what is it about October 3rd? What is it about this seemingly random date that captures the internet's attention year after year?
Well, what I find so interesting is how, just one single line from a teen movie, like almost like an afterthought,
Yeah.
could become this cultural touchstone that we're still talking about, like 2 decades later.
Yeah, like it's crazy.
It's wild. Mean Girls premiered in 2004.
Wow.
And you think about that, I mean, some of the most devoted fans of that movie, they weren't even alive when it came out.
That's so true. This one little line about October 3rd has seriously gone beyond the movie, become this whole cultural phenomenon.
It really has.
And the sources we looked at, they really dug into how the memes evolved, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like you've got screenshots, of course, that iconic scene.
Yeah.
But it goes so much further.
Oh, for sure.
Photoshopping October 3rd into famous paintings, historical events. The stuff people come up with, honestly.
It's pretty incredible. It's really creative. That's what's so fascinating about how these memes work.
Yeah.
They become like this participatory cultural commentary.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got that shared reference point, the Mean Girls connection, but then they add their own spin on it, their own meaning.
I love that.
Yeah. And it lets fans connect with each other,
Totally.
riff on the movie, and it's always changing, evolving.
And it's not just the fans. Even Lindsay Lohan's gotten in on it.
Oh, yeah.
Back in 2022, remember? She used October 3rd to promote her Christmas movie with Netflix.
Oh, that's right.
Marketing genius, really.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting, like from a cultural analysis standpoint. It's one thing for the fans to keep the meme going, but when the originator, the star herself, is in on it, ironically, playfully, it just adds this whole other layer. Like she's acknowledging the whole fan culture that's built up around this thing.
Right. This loop of nostalgia and humor, it's pretty great. But, I did see someone on Twitter asking, is the October 3rd meme over? Like maybe it's run its course.
Yeah, and it's a fair question. It makes you think about trends, especially online, how they kind of come and go,
They do.
Memes can be cyclical. One year they're everywhere, the next not so much. But even if it's not as big this year.
Right.
The fact that we're still talking about it,
Yeah.
Mean Girls gets brought up every October 3rd. That shows you how culturally relevant it still is. It's tapped into something that just sticks with people, even after all this time.
It really has.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's safe to say October 3rd, it's practically a Mean Girls holiday at this point.
It really is.
But beyond the memes, even beyond Lindsay Lohan playing along, there's been some big Mean Girls reunions.
Right, definitely.
And not just quick photo ops. I mean, these were events. What do you think it is about these reunions, even years later, sometimes over a decade later?
Yeah.
They get so much attention. Why?
I think it really speaks to this need we have, this human need to connect, to feel nostalgic,
I get that.
Especially now, everything's so fast-paced. Social media especially. These reunions, they're like a comfort, a return to something familiar.
Yeah, like comfort food, but for your pop culture heart.
Exactly. It's not just about the past either. It's about seeing these actors we feel like we know.
Right.
Seeing how they've grown, Think about that Cady Heron reunion back in 2020.
Oh, yeah, that was huge.
It was. What's interesting about that one?
What's that?
It was the first time the main cast had been together, even virtually.
Oh, wow.
Since filming ended back in 2003.
16 years.
16 years.
Right.
Crazy, right?
I mean, I knew that, but saying it out loud?
Yeah, you really feel it.
It really hits home how long ago that was.
And even after all that time, you could still feel it, that connection, that friendship. It really showed how much the film meant, not just to the fans, but to them, to the cast.
Yeah.
Clearly means a lot to them.
Okay, speaking of special moments, how about that surprise Lindsay Lohan appearance at the musical premiere this year?
Oh, totally.
I mean, nobody saw that coming.
Really smart move, though, by the production. And it wasn't just her being there. It was the fact that she was there with Tina Fey on the red carpet.
Such a full circle moment.
Right. It was huge symbolically. Having them together, the star and the writer, at the opening of the musical,
Right.
It drew this direct line between the original and this new version.
Like passing the torch, but respectfully, Which actually perfect transition because I want to talk about the musical, the adaptation.
Okay, yeah.
New cast, new songs, but not a total reboot, is it?
No, definitely not. You've got this great new cast, lots of talent, taking on those roles: Cady, Regina, Giannis, Damien, Angourie Rice, Renee Rapp, Oli Carvalho. So good.
Oh, they're fantastic.
But there's clearly this intent right from the beginning to honor what came before, what made Mean Girls so special.
For sure.
The heart of it.
And they did that in part by bringing back some familiar faces.
Yeah.
Like they knew fans would be like, hold on, is it even Mean Girls without Mrs. Norbury, without Principal Duvall?
Right.
Because Tina Fey and Tim Meadows, they're back.
Yeah.
Same roles. All these years later, genius.
It really was smart. You get that fresh energy from the new cast.
Totally.
But then that touch of the familiar, It bridges the gap for the old fans, but welcomes in the new ones too.
It's like, we hear you, we love it too.
Yeah.
Okay, but imagine, just for a second, that they went even further. Our sources found out there were talks about bringing in even more of the original cast.
Really? Well, I'm not surprised, actually, with everyone loving Mean Girls again.
Right.
Makes sense they'd at least think about it. It's tricky, though.
Yeah, wouldn't want it to feel gimmicky.
Exactly. It can't just be about getting famous faces in there. It's got to fit the story, the vibe of the musical.
Right. Well, get this. One of the games that came up, according to our sources, Rachel McAdams.
Oh, wow.
They wanted her to do a cameo. I mean, it makes sense. Regina George, she's such a huge part of it.
For sure.
And Rachel McAdams, she IS Regina George for a lot of people, Totally. Even a quick appearance, fans would have gone nuts.
Absolutely.
But Tina Fey said it just wasn't going to happen, logistically.
Yeah, scheduling's always tough.
Everyone's so busy, couldn't make it work. Still, I love that they even tried.
Me too. Shows they cared about doing it right,
Exactly.
Not just churning out another adaptation. They were thinking about the fans.
It shows. And the reunion fun isn't over yet. Just the other day, Amanda Seyfried hinted at a Mean Girls get-together.
No way, really?
Yeah. No details yet, but she mentioned cheese fries and, come on.
That's a reference.
Gotta be. So yeah, here we are, a random date that's a yearly thing because of one line.
Wild.
Reunions that break the internet, a hit musical. Even Lindsay Lohan's still in on it.
It's amazing.
Makes you wonder, is Mean Girls just a fun, quotable movie? Or is there something deeper? I mean, it connects with people of all ages.
It's true.
Maybe it's about how we all deal with social stuff, wanting to fit in, the underdog winning sometimes. Something to think about next time you hear October 3rd. Right, Jen?
I like it.
That's our deep dive into Mean Girls and its lasting impact. See you next time.